Welcome to another day of adventures with Wes and Jeff, and today it's just Wes, and I am in Kentucky, and I'm 85 miles northeast of Nashville and 85 miles southwest of Louisville, Kentucky. The visitor center I just went through, it's a great visitor center, very modern, all updated, lots of exhibits explaining about this cave system that is the longest in the world, and it's 426 miles long, and they're still discovering some to this date. So today I'm going to be taking two of their tours. It's highly recommended that you get reservations ahead of time, but and I did, and thank goodness, because they were sold out by the time I got here this morning. And this is the visitor center. It's very massive. It's where they hold all of the tours where they start. So I'm going to be taking a couple tours. That's going to be great. This cave system dates back many years. They have evidence that Native Americans used this cave back in 4,500 years ago. So they're finding artifacts and stuff. So massive cave system. So lots of areas to it. They've got about 10 different types of tours that tour different areas of the cave system. So if you ever get a chance to get in this part of Kentucky in the Midwest, be sure and stop in and check out Mammoth Caves National Park. It became a cave. The cave system was discovered long ago by the white settlers, and Daniel Boone was in this area back in 1755, and then in the 1800s they started exploring the caves and stuff, but it didn't become a national park, and it was the East Coast first national park. It didn't become a national park until 1926. So the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps, with all those young men that they were putting to work during Roosevelt's period, actually developed this whole area, and they did all the infrastructure for the park system. So anyways, I'll take several pictures, and I'll post lots of pictures of the inside of the cave. The Mammoth Cave Visitor Center is a central point for visitors to orient themselves to what lies above and below the surface here at the park. Situated just up the hill from the cave's historic entrance, the Visitor Center is the departure point for all cave tours and offers exhibits to prepare you for discovery. The Visitor Center has 2 gift shops, restrooms, a museum with exhibits about the history and formation of these caves, and park rangers on hand to answer questions regarding cave tours, permits, and available hikes. There is a digital board located in the lobby that updates visitors about the different cave tours offered for that particular day, times of operation, as well as a will call counter to pick up your pre-reserved underground cave tour tickets. The Mammoth Cave National Park Visitor Center features an updated museum with exhibits on cave geology, including stalactites and stalagmites, and the park's diverse ecosystem. Key displays cover 4,500 years of human history, featuring Native American artifacts like slippers and torches found in the cave, as well as 19th century saltpeter mining history for the War of 1812 and early cave exploration. Displays explain the 420 miles of surveyed passageways, limestone formation, and the history of early cave tours dating back to 1816. The museum includes a theater room with short videos. Cave tours are led by park rangers that meet their timed entry specific tour group under a shelter for an overview and safety briefing before walking to the historic entrance to the cave or boarding one of the green park shuttle buses to one of the other nearby cave entrances to start your tour. The nearby lodge at Mammoth Cave is located across the footbridge from the visitor center. The historic tour is the first of the 2 cave tours that I signed up for here at Mammoth Cave. This classic tour is the most popular tour, giving the first-time visitor a taste of many of the different areas in the cave, including large passageways, as well as smaller and tighter areas used by humans for thousands of years. The tour is 2 miles long that ascends and descends 540 stairs and steep inclines. After a short walk to the historic cave entrance, the park ranger explains that this historic entrance to the cave was formed by water penetrating the sandstone caprock and dissolving the underlying limestone, creating voids in the limestone layers below. The surface stream disappears into the void, leaving a dry ravine and this grand entrance to the cave. This area is made of a thick 400-foot deep limestone bed. The limestone dissolves when rainwater seeps into cracks and holes, and the rainwater becomes acidic as it passes through the soil. The acid dissolves the stone and forms new streams underground. The entire Mammoth Cave region has been shaped millions of years of subterranean streams that honeycombed the area's ridges with caves. This kind of limestone geology is called karst. The historic tour begins at the visitor center with a 1/4-mile stroll along the paved historic entrance trail. This path descends through a steep valley to reach the historic entrance. The historic entrance is the largest natural opening into Mammoth Cave, serving as a passage for exploration for nearly 3,000 years. After a short descent into the cave, you pass through a dimly lit passage known as Hodgson's Narrows, named after a pioneer hunter who, according to legend, discovered this cave system in 1797 while pursuing a wounded bear. This area is also called the Twilight Zone because the light from the sun still filters into the cave to this point. The tour continues into a large cave room called the Rotunda, one of Mammoth Cave's most well-known cave rooms. This expansive and impressive chamber expands roughly 1/4 of an acre in size and features a circular-shaped ceiling towering 40 feet above. The tour continues along a section called Broadway Avenue, where we pass by wooden pipes on the left side of the cave, which are remnants of a saltpeter mining operation from the early 1800s, where they extracted bat guano, or poo, to use in gunpowder in the War of 1812. They used these square vats to filter the cave dirt. A solution of water and the calcium nitrate from the bat guano was pumped up to the surface, combined with other materials like wood ash and sometimes even oxen blood to create saltpeter. After a few hundred yards, Broadway Avenue descends into a large canyon room named the Methodist Church. In the 1830s, Reverend George Slaughter Gatewood conducted church services down here, sometimes taking parishioners' lanterns away from them upon arrival to ensure they stayed for the whole sermon. He preached from a rock formation called the Pulpit, located on the left side of the trail. Did you know Mammoth Cave was once home to the tuberculosis hospital. During the winter of 1842, 16 tuberculosis patients lived down here underground in hopes that this cave's consistent temperatures and cool, damp air would help them in their recovery of this disease. This disease was also called consumption back in the day. The experiment was unsuccessful, but the remnants of the stone hut remains in this area of the cave. Further down the trail leads you to the Giant's Coffin, a 1,000-ton boulder measuring 48 feet wide by 20 feet high, with numerous historic signatures, including one from Dr. J.N. McDowell from 1839. Dr. McDowell was a very eccentric doctor who was best known for illegally exhuming ancient corpses from this cave to study and teach anatomy. He was from Hannibal, Missouri, and established the first medical school in Missouri, the Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis. Following Giant's Coffin, the tour heads through Dante's Gateway, a narrow passageway to the lower areas of the cave. This tight passageway is named after Dante's Gateway, referring to the entrance of the underworld. Then descending through a room called the Wooden Bowl Room, where an ancient Native American wooden bowl was found and is being preserved by the National Park Service in a climate-controlled storage offsite. The tour continues on through Black Snake Avenue, where historic graffiti lines the walls and ceiling, left here long before this cave became a national park. The path continues down the steps of time over the side saddle pit, and it then traverses the bottomless pit, a deep pit that plunges down 105 feet further into the depths of this cave. The bottomless pit is roughly 105 feet deep vertical shaft. It is a vertical chute surrounded by limestone walls with a large dome directly above. This chasm was famously first crossed in 1838 by enslaved guide Stephen Bishop, who used a ladder to bridge the gap and explore further. Nowadays, a steel bridge with graded flooring stretches across the pit. It was considered and given the name bottomless because early explorers could not see to the bottom with their lanterns. Following the bottomless pit, the route progresses through low-level passages leading to Fat Man's Misery, a keyhole-shaped passage spanning 100 feet in length and slightly wider than hip width. Toward the end of the passage, we had to navigate through a section called Tall Man's Misery, a section with low clearance that challenged this 6'2" man down to the height of only 3 feet to pass through. After navigating through Fat Man's Misery, the tour arrives at Great Relief Hall, where we took a 10 to 15 minute break. Restrooms are available at this point in the tour. Just before entering the hall, the graffiti on the ceiling reads Landrum's Sax Horn Band, dated 1855. This was scrawled on the cave ceiling prior to the Civil War by a band or musical group back in the day. Moving forward, the tour continues to River Hall, located 283 feet below the surface.
River Hall lies 283 feet beneath your feet on the historic tour route. Usually dry, this passage fills with water. The Mammoth Cave's river Styx floods into it. Most of the cave stays dry during floods. River Hall is the only toured section of the cave in the floodplain. Poet and abolitionist Lydia Maria Child wrote of River Hall when visiting Mammoth Cave. The River Hall descends like the slope of a mountain. The ceiling stretches away, away before you, vast and grand as the firmament at midnight.
Moving forward, the tour arrives at the remarkable Mammoth Dome, the largest known dome in this cave system. 190 feet up, the stair-tower staircase ascends over 200 feet from the cave floor via 140 stairs up. We climbed the stairs and enjoyed spectacular views of both the Mammoth Dome and Crevice Pit along the way. Once up to the top, the tour leads through a little bat avenue, and then back to the rotunda, and then back to the historical entrance. What a great tour. Beautiful day here on the surface, and underneath I've already taken one tour, and I'm getting ready to take my second tour. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's very interesting. The caves here are mammoth, so pretty cool. I've never been here. It's a bright sunny day with a little humidity for this California boy now. The second tour I'm taking today is called the Domes and Dripstones Tour. This tour begins with 280 stairs down into a sinkhole, passes through huge domes, large canyon passageways, and ends in the dripstone section known as the Frozen Niagara. It is a 2-hour tour that travels into the cave 3/4 of a mile with 500 stairs. This tour focuses on the natural formation of the cave and is ideal for those persons interested in the science and geology of the cave, and for those wanting to see stalactites and stalagmites. The Domes and Dripstones Tour starts with a 10-minute park shuttle ride from the visitor center to the new entrance, which sits on top of a large sinkhole. From the entrance, the tour begins with a long descent into the depths of the sinkhole through a network of intricate maze-like passageways. The several flights of stairs unveils water-sculpted cave walls as you go deeper and deeper into the cave. The first dome we came to was a 130-foot tall limestone dome called the Roosevelt Dome, named in honor of President Theodore Roosevelt, a pioneer environmentalist and conservationist who, during his presidency, helped preserve over 200 million acres of national forest and parklands. The tour passes a very interesting deep pit called the Silo Pit, which is 160 feet deep with amazing ledges formed by water flow. After reaching the 300-foot level on the tour, the path winds through a dimly lit passageway called the New York Subway, just before reaching the deepest section of the tour, the Grand Central Station. At Grand Central Station, the park ranger informed us about the room's history and how it was discovered by cave developer George Morrison in the early 1920s. The tour continues and ascends through an area called Big Break, where parts of the cave's ceiling is left crumbled on the floor. Another ascent takes us to an area called Ferry Ceiling. Then on to another area called Flat Ceiling. Then the tour enters a large room known as Lover's Leap, a 30-foot drop named for lovers to demonstrate their love for one another by taking the leap.
Lover's Leap in Gothic Avenue is 175 feet beneath your feet. The popular name usually refers to high cliffs where broken-hearted lovers can leap to their deaths, but the 10-foot jump from the Lover's Leap in Mammoth Cave would likely just break a leg. Lover's Leap is one of the oldest named landmarks in the cave. The name goes back to 1827.
The tour proceeds through an area called College Heights, a fairly large, dimly lit chamber, and then Thanksgiving Hall. You continue through Shower Bath Spring, where water cascades from the ceiling in a stream. Then through one of the park's most well-known formations called the Frozen Niagara. A massive flowstone formation that resembles a frozen waterfall, named as a likeness to Niagara Falls, frozen over in the wintertime. This cascading flowstone formation that hangs down the cave wall appears like hardened curtains, draperies, and frozen cascades of water, is one of the most prominent examples of travertine flowstone in the park. It is 43 feet wide and 70 feet high with a 32-inch thickness. At a growth rate of only 1 inch per each 1,000 years, it has taken at least 800,000 years for it to grow to this size. Up the staircase, the drapery room with amazing views from all directions, and along the staircase to the right, a formation called the Golden Fleece is a distinctive feature in this drapery room. The color and golden hue it gives off is from the oxidization of the iron minerals interacting with the air. The room has so many interesting formations, with the dripstones hanging from the ceiling resembling long, narrow, arthritic fingers hanging down. Below the frozen Niagara, the drapery room displays some of the most fascinating dripstone and flagstone forms of travertine located in one area. Dripstone has been formed here by calcium carbonate precipitation from dripping water that has entered the cave from above, whereas the flowstone here was formed by calcium carbonate precipitation formed from sheets of flowing water. After viewing the drapery room, the tour concludes and the tour returns the same way that you came in. Once back up to the surface, the dense green, lush stands of eastern hardwood forest is a welcome sight. This park is split into two regions, underground and above ground. Above the ground, it has hiking trails, campgrounds, and rivers for fishing, floating, and paddling. This park is home to over 80 miles of above-ground trails for hiking, biking, and horseback riding, along the scenic river vistas and along the Green and Nolan rivers. One notable trail is the Cedar Sink Trail, which is an easy 1 to 2 mile round-trip lollipop loop trail that descends into a massive 7-acre sinkhole, which is Kentucky's largest, and gives the hiker a view into this area's unique karst window geological feature, and a glimpse into a rare above-ground underground river system. Mammoth Cave National Park hosts a diverse ecosystem featuring over 160 species within its 426 miles of passages, ranging from surface mammals like white-tailed deer, foxes, raccoons, possums, beavers, and even black bears, and birds like turkeys, owls, warblers, and bald eagles, and reptiles and amphibians like copperheads, rattlesnakes, and bullfrogs. Underground cave dwellers include 13 different types of bats, cave salamanders, cave crickets, spiders, cave fish, and even a translucent shrimp found only in this cave system called the Kentucky cave shrimp. In order to travel from the main area of the park where the visitor center and cave entrances on the south side to the north side of the park, you can cross by a short, free, park-operated ferry system across the Green River. The ferry runs 364 days a year. It's closed on Christmas Day, and it accommodates vehicles, bikes, and hikers. If you choose not to take the ferry, you can drive around the outside of the park on local roads to access the north side of this park. Mammoth Cave National Park has 3 developed front country campgrounds. There's Mammoth Cave Campground, which is their main campground with 111 sites, the Maple Springs Group Campground for larger parties and equestrian campers, and the Houchin Ferry Campground, a more primitive, quiet option along the Green River with 12 campsites. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video and my adventure here at Mammoth Cave National Park, please hit the like button below and leave a comment, and please subscribe to our channel to share our experiences in seeing all 63 national parks. But whatever you're doing today, get out, enjoy the great outdoors, and do something that makes you smile.